What's up, everyone? I'm pretty sure someone's already done this. I think Keegan did it. I still would want to do this for myself. Today, I'm going to try to beat Pokemon Scarlet using only Ash's Pokemon. Now, the reason why I did this is not because I copied Keegan, because apparently Ash will be retired and he won't be the main character of the Pokemon anime anymore, and I want to play through Pokemon Scarlet using his Pokemon that he's attained throughout his entire journey. Which is kind of sad to see that Ash is getting retired. But to be fair, up until like a couple years ago, Ash was the biggest loser in the world. People regarded him as the biggest loser because he didn't win in like 20 years. And now he's won back-to-back championships. Crazy things for fictional characters. But anyways, let's get into our challenge video today. We're going to try to beat Pokemon Scarlet using only Ash's Pokemon. Basically, the rules are I can only use Pokemon Ash has obtained. And I'm not going to count the ones he released this time around. There's already so many Pokemon that you can get of his in the game. And as well, it's not like a hardcore Nuzlocke, but I'm gonna call it a hardcore Nuzlocke. You can find each of his Pokemon in different routes, so you won't need to overlap ever. But I want to play on certain rules, as in if my Pokemon ever faints, they will be dead. That's why there's a death count on the bottom right. As well, there's gonna be a level cap, so I don't get over level while playing through Pokemon Scarlet. So there's a reasonable challenge within this. If I lose any of my Pokemon at any point, it's gonna be a death, and if I full wipe, that means the challenge is over. So it's gonna be pretty difficult. And as well, each of my Pokemon will be nicknamed after you guys in the comments. So thanks so much for leaving a comment in my previous challenge video. If you guys want to be nicknamed after a future Pokemon in my future challenge video, just drop in comments and hopefully I'll pick yours. And while you're down there, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me, as we're very close to 40k. I say this every single video, but we're very close to 40k. I think we're 300 subs away. I don't know if we're gonna make it to the new year with 40k subs, but we're gonna try our best to. And anyways, let's get into the challenge video itself. To start off with, we gotta make our character look like Ash. Obviously, I think Ash has dreads. We'll also have the Ash color for his hair, so yeah, looks like Ash to me. Anyways, to start off the game, there's not gonna be any Pokemon for us for the first hour, because we're gonna get our starter and then talk to a bunch of people. It's gonna be a while before the intro stops, but once we're done with the intro and we get a starter Pokemon that's not Ash's, obviously, we can go out and catch ourselves our first Pokemon, which is going to be a Fletchling. Fletchling is going to be one of Ash's Kalos Pokemon, which is pretty cool to have. So that's our first Pokemon technically. You can also catch Pikachu around this route or the next route over, but you also get it from a mystery gift. So we get a free Pikachu from the mystery gift, and it's kind of cool. Also has Fly as a move, which we won't ever use. And as well, from there, I'm also going to want to trade away my Fuecoco, which was my starter in the game, for an actual starter Pokemon. We got a Phanpy, but we're just gonna disregard that. We get ourselves a Charmander, which is technically Ash's strongest Pokemon, his Charizard. And once we're done with the Pokemon School Academy, we're able to go out into the wild and catch ourselves a Starly, so our adventure could get started. And as well, we can also get ourselves a Phanpy. You can see Rockruffs in the back. I don't want to get a Rockruff right now. I want to get one later on, because we need to get a specific one to evolve it into a dust form, and we'll get there when we get there. But from there, we should be able to head into the very first gym of the game. The level cap for this is going to be level 15, so we could be at level 15. We just can't be over it when we start the battle. So we're going to start off against the Bug Gym Leader with my Staravia, which is going to be really good. I'm able to beat down her Cricket Pokemon and also her Spider Pokemon pretty easily. Things are looking very easy for us, as she sends out her Teddy Ursa next, which is going to Terra Evolve into a Bug type. I'm going to Wing Attack twice into the Teddy Ursa and knock her out pretty easily, as we get our first gym badge in the game. Our Pikachu is hard to level up. I don't know why it's not gaining enough XP. From there, though, we're going to face off against the Titan. We're going to do a bunch of Titans because we need to unlock abilities for our Ride Pokemon so we can traverse the area a little bit better. You actually don't need all of them, I don't think. I think you just need some of them to beat the game. But anyways, from there, we're going to head into the next gym of the game. Nothing in the between at all. So we're going to start the battle off against the Grass Gym Leader using my Staravia, because I really like Staraptor's line. We're going to one-shot the Petalil of the Gym Leader and also the Smoliv. And then his next Pokemon will be a Sudowoodo, which he Terra Evolves into a Grass type, which I think this part is pretty unique in the game, because, you know, Sudowoodo is always mistaken to be a Grass type, and now it's Terra Evolve into a Grass type, so it's kind of cool. It's going to get two-shotted by my Staravia, as it's unable to do anything against me, and I'm also able to evolve my Fletchling from this into a Fletchinder, so that's kind of cool. And then from there, our next gym fight is going to be against an electric type gym leader, so we're going to go out and try to find ourselves a Gibble. Unfortunately, the Gibble here is too high for the level cap, and it just doesn't make sense, so I refrain from getting myself a Gibble and actually get myself a Sandile instead, which is actually I wouldn't say more useful, but it's pretty cool as well. From there, we're going to face off against the electric gym leader in the game. We're going to start the battle off against her using my Sandal. She just bite into her little flying bird Pokemon, which is kind of cool. I really like the electric bird. People call it a Zapdos knockoff. Is it like a Zapdos knockoff? I'm not too sure. But anyways, her next Pokemon is going to be a Bellavolt, which is going to try to water gun against my Sandal, but I'm going to go for a dig, and it's going to go for a water gun. Luckily enough, I survive it as I'm able to dig twice into him and then knock out the Bellavolt. And then the next Pokemon will be a Luxio, which I don't know what to do here. I decided to go out to my Charmeleon because I'm going to Fire Fang. I should have saved my Charmeleon here. I don't know why I did this. So I'm going to knock out the Luxio using my Charmeleon. And then the next Pokemon is going to be a Miss Magius, which I go for a Fire Fang against, which is going to do some decent damage, but she's going to Terra Evolve into an Electric type. And I do have a few ground types I can switch into. I switch into my Phanpy, and then forgot that Miss Magius also has Levitate. So it's actually a cool combination they did this with. I'm pretty sure they did this on purpose to show off the capabilities of Terra Evolving. But unfortunately, my Phanpy gets really low in HP. I go out into my Fletchinder. It gets knocked down as well. Even though I Terra Evolve into a normal type, it's still gonna one-shot me, which is unfortunate. That kind of sucks. I should have went for a quick attack going back to it. But I also lose my Pikachu in this fight as well. And now I gotta go into my Charmeleon and hope I survive. Lucky enough, the Miss Magius goes for a Confuse Ray against me instead of an actual attack. I'm able to go through Confusion and Fire Fang into the Miss Magius to knock her out. And then we get our third gym badge, but we lose 2 Pokemon in the process, which kind of annoying. But we could regain our position, as from here we could go out and catch ourselves a Rockruff, which this specific Rockruff is going to have Own Tempo, a hidden ability, which allows us to evolve it into its dust form. But we're not going to use it right now because the next gym is going to be a water type gym leader. So Ash's Rockruff is specifically only dust form, so we have to wait for that. But the next gym is going to be a water type gym anyway, so I decided to refrain from that. I got myself a Haunter. I actually went out and asked my friend Nova to link trade with me with a Haunter, and I asked him for a favor. He did too much. He knew I was recording. He wanted to show off a little bit, so he wanted to show off his Iron Valiant, which is a shiny Gallade form in his game. So he just wanted to flex on purpose. But we're going to get ourselves a Gengar, and then from there we're also able to train up our Pokemon and get ourselves a Grimer near the town around the water gym as well. So our team is looking pretty good. I think that's one of the last Pokemon. Oh no, Riolu is one of the last Pokemon I catch on my team. So I'm also Quick Ball Riolu and also evolve it using all the berries to up the happiness of my Riolu, and then evolve the Riolu into Lucario immediately. And then from there we can face off against the water gym leader in the game. We're going to start the battle off against the water gym leader using my Lucario. Unfortunately, I forgot that the Veluza start off, so I went to my star area to lower his attack stat, and I also caught a Goomy. I didn't show that part, but I caught myself a Goomy. Goomy's going to be not too useful as it almost goes down to the Veluza, but I could go out to my Donphan ironically and survive any physical attack as I'm able to Bodos into him and knock him out in 2 shots. His next Pokemon is going to be a Wugtrio, which I go out into my Gengar next. Gengar hits him with Hypnosis, which is nice, and then I go out into my Lucario here. Lucario does have Calm Mind for this occasion only because I wanted a special attacker. Fortunately enough, it actually went for Mud Slap. I'm not too sure why I switched out. I should have stayed in. I had Aura Sphere, which never misses, so thinking back to it, I should have just stayed in, but I went out to my Lucario once again and then start Calm Minding up against it. And this time Mud Slap's actually disabled by Curse Body, so I'm able to just Calm Mind in front of the Wugtrio, and then eventually it's gonna headbutt me and flinch my Lucario, which will activate my ability, which will boost my Lucario speed, and then Aura Sphere, which looks super cool. Look at the animation for Aura Sphere. We'll knock out the Wugtrio, which is cool, and because of the speed boost, I'm pretty sure I'm faster than Crabominable anyways, but it's gonna Terra Evolve into Water type, and then I'm also gonna Terra Evolve into a Fighting type, and then Aura Sphere, since someone told me it's like a ×2 stab if you're already part that type, so I'm able to Aura Sphere into the Crabominable. It doesn't kill the Crabominable, which is actually pretty bad for me, but it's gonna go for a Rock Smash against me. Since I'm not Steel type anymore, I'm able to survive it, luckily enough, and I'm able to Aura Sphere once again to knock out the Crabominable, and we end up getting our 4th gym badge of the game. Very luckily, we almost lost Lucario from that. But from there, we're going to go out and then start training up our Pokemon. It takes a long time to train up our Pokemon after every level cap, especially this one, from 30 to 36, and then the next one. So from there, we're going to face off against Larry next. Larry's going to be the normal type gym leader in the game. He's going to start the battle off against us using a Komala. I went for a Gengar. I'm not too sure. Gengar can't do anything against him. But I went out to my Staraptor, which will close combat into the Komala and one-shot it. But unfortunately, I fall asleep from that. He then can send out his Dunsparce, which I go out into my Crocorock to lower his attack stat first. And then I didn't trust that I could live another one, so I decided to go out to my Gengar, which it does also have Drill Run, which lucky enough my Gengar can live one and then Curse Body it. and then that will allow me to hypnosis as much as I want onto the Dewdance, and then go out into my Lucario to just boost up a little more. I have Swords Dance this time. I actually switched up my set for my Lucario. I have Swords Dance this time and also Force Palm to knock out the Dewdance, and then the next Pokemon will be a Staraptor, which will intimidate me, but I am able to survive any attack from him as I'm able to Force Palm into a Staraptor and then paralyze him actually, and from there I'm able to knock him out as he's slower than my Lucario, as we're able to get our 5th gym badge of the game. Looking pretty simple now. We're just gonna do gyms back to back, I guess. There's not too much in between. There's a bunch of training. This run took me about 12.5 hours. Most of that was training. If I zoom out of my recording right now, all the gyms and the entire run right now that I edited down is only 2 hours. So there's 10 hours of me just roaming around and just doing nothing, most likely. Roaming around, grinding, looking at new areas. That's about all the things I was doing. But from there, we're going to face off against the next gym leader in the game. The next gym leader in the game is going to be a ghost type gym leader, and we're going to start the battle off against her using my Gengar and Charizard. Now in this situation, I actually want to switch out my Gengar just to bait in the attacks onto that side. Switch out to my Krookodile to lower the attack stat of both the Bayonet and also the Mimikyu, and use my Charizard to Heat Wave into both the Bayonet and also the Mimikyu to break the disguise of them. From there, I'm also able to Heat Wave once again, knock out the Bayonet, and also Crunch into the Mimikyu to get a double KO, which will actually boost up my stats because of the DJ. And then from there, I'm going to Terra Evolve my Charizard, which I don't know why it's not able to Terra Evolve into a Dragon type, but whatever. I'm able to Terra Evolve into a Fire type, and then I'm going to go for a Heat Wave. The Toxicity Tree does dodge my Heat Wave, but I'm able to crunch him because he's going to be slower than me. I'm able to one-shot him, and then our final Pokemon will be the Houndstone, which can't do too much to me as I'm able to outspeed her and then knock her out in one shot. And when we're able to beat down the Ghost Gym Leader in the game, from there we're going to face off against the Psychic Gym Leader in the game. We're going to start the battle off against her using my Krookodile, which makes the most sense. I was pretty sure I saw you could buy black glasses somewhere, but I'm not too sure where you can buy it, so I didn't actually put it on my Krookodile at this point. But I'm able to crunch into the Fire Giraffe, but unfortunately it does live and then set up reflect against me, which is kind of annoying, so I'm just going to waste some turns against him, and then eventually I'm just going to go for a crunch and knock out the Fire Giraffe. Her next Pokemon will be a Gardevoir, which is part Fairy type. I go out to my Muk next. Now this plan should have worked. I mean, I take the Moonblast and then I went for a Gunk Shot. Unfortunately, Gunk Shot absolutely had to miss as Psychic's gonna knock me down to low HP, so now I can't even stay in. I decided to switch out into my Krookodile once again to pivot into my Gengar this time. I know I can survive one hit because I'm a Reflect typer, but I need to land a Hypnosis, which unfortunately enough, even though I Reflect type and then Hypnosis, she's still going to avoid my attack and then Psychic me down to low HP, so now I can't even stay in with my Gengar. So 2 Pokemon let me down in this fight heavily. So from there, I'm going to switch out into my Krookodile, and for some reason, she used an Energy Ball against me, so I don't even understand this game. I switched out to my Lucario, which would not take a Dazzling Gleam too well at all. From there, I can't do anything. I decided that I need to sack something. I need to get free switching. I switched out into my Muk. I sacked my Muk against the Gardevoir. I then go out to my Staraptor, which was lucky enough to shot against the Gardevoir, which I'm able to knock out with Wing Attack. Her next Pokemon is going to be the Ostrich looking thing. I decided to go out into my Charizard, which I'm going to Terra Evolve and then knock out with Flamethrower. 2 Flamethrowers will knock out the Ostrich. And then the next Pokemon will be the Florges, which is going to Terra Evolve. I decided to go out to my Krookodile because I believe it's going to use a Psychic move. It does. And then I'm going to hope the Crunch knocks out the Florges, which it doesn't. It lives with a little bit of HP, and it's going to knock out my Krookodile, so I lose 2 more Pokemon from this interaction. But luckily enough, I'm able to Flamethrower into the Florges, and I'm able to knock out the Florges. We get our 7th gym badge in the game, which was pretty difficult, I'm not going to lie. From there, the level cap has jumped up to level 48, and now you can see my team is depleted, and my Pokemon are at baby stages, but that should be fine. As I'm looking up the sun, it looks like I could just go into the next gym anyways, and then wait for the sun to go into dust mode. From there, I could face off against the 8th gym leader in the game. We're start the battle off against her using my Charizard. Charizard's can pretty much sweep her since she's an ice type gym leader. I'm able to Terra Evolve immediately since it's a times 2 stat boost if you're already the type. I'm able to Flamethrower into the Frostmoth and knock him out in one shot. Her next Pokemon is going to be a Beartic, which I'm also able to Flamethrower. Her next Pokemon is going to be a Setian, which I go for a Flamethrower. It's super effective, but it's not going to die at all. It's going to liquidate me. Lucky enough, I survive it, and then another Flamethrower will knock her out. And then her next Pokemon will be an Altaria, which she's going to Terra Evolve into an Ice type. I go for a Flamethrower. Lucky enough, it does one-shot the Altaria. I think I'm in Blaze range. I'm pretty sure I'm in Blaze range, so it's actually like triple the power. So from there, I'm able to get the 8th gym badge of the game, and then once we're actually done with the gym, it's already dust time. It's perfect timing for us. I calculated this perfectly. No time wasted. I'm a speedrunner. I'm able to evolve my Rockruff into the dust form immediately after, and then now we have a full team. All we gotta do is train it up, and it takes a long time. It took about 2.5 hours. The reason why it took 2.5 hours to go from 48 to 60 for my team, because my Rockruff is at 25, it takes a while. Everyone also needs to get to 60, and also my Goomy gains level the slowest, and it never rained. Throughout this 2.5 hours of just running around looking for Pokemon to battle, my Goomy never ever saw rain. I even tried to use Rain Dance in the battle and then level up. It does not work. I tried that multiple times. It did not work. I have to wait for actual rain in the game, and it didn't rain at all. I even switched the time, did everything. I waited, idle, everything. I tried my best to evolve my Sliggoo into a Goodra. It just wasn't working, so I decided to give up on that and just have a Sliggoo in my final fight in the Elite Four. So we're gonna head into the Elite Four. We're gonna face off against Rika. The first time I did a challenge video on Scarlet, a bunch of people said I misgendered Rika by calling her a her, and then I changed that to calling him a him, and it wasn't right either. I'm just gonna not refer to Rika as any pronouns at all. So Rika is going to start the battle off against us as the ground Elite Four member. I'm gonna start the battle off against Rika using my Gengar Energy Ball into the Whiscash and knock him down. And there, Rika's next Pokemon will be a Donphan, which has Sturdy, so it's gonna obviously knock me out with an Earthquake. So I went out to a Staraptor. I'm able to Wing Attack multiple times into the Donphan, eventually knock out the Donphan. Pathetic that my Staraptor's best move is Wing Attack. Even though I have Brave Bird, I don't want to use Brave Bird. Against the Dugtrio, I decided to just stay in as it sets up a Sandstorm. I'm able to Wing Attack into him and one-shot him, so Dugtrio goes down as well. Rika's next Pokemon will be a Camerupt, which I decided to switch out into my Sliggoo. Sliggoo has a water move, surprisingly enough. It has Muddy Water, and I'm pretty sure I'm able to knock out the Camerupt in one shot as well. These Elite Four members have some terrible teams, I'm not gonna lie. All the Elite Four members, except Poppy, I think it's pretty decent. I like Poppy's team, and also Hansel's team, but Rika and also Larry, pretty disappointing. And Rika's final Pokemon will be a Clodsire, which doesn't do too much against me. I'm just going to stay here. I'm just going to try to Muddy Water down the Clodsire. Eventually, it's going to try to use Protect every other turn. I go out into my Charizard. I'm trying to just Heat Wave into him. I'm just eventually going to knock out the Clodsire. It just takes a long time. But eventually, I am able to knock out the Clodsire and also Rika, as we're able to beat down Rika, the first Elite Four member of the game. So from there, we're going to face off against Poppy next. Poppy is going to be the Steel type Elite Four member of the game. I decided to just stay with my Charizard. Charizard is just pretty cool. I'm a Terra Evolve using my Charizard, obviously, just Flamethrower and knock out the Copperajah. Free kill. Okay. Her next Pokemon is going to be a Bronzong, which I don't know why she switched out. I was expecting the Magnezone since it has Sturdy, but Bronzong goes down as well. Her next Pokemon will be the Corviknight, which also goes down in one shot. This is a terrible plan, by the way, Poppy. Her fourth Pokemon will be finally the Magnezone, which I go for an Air Slash and actually flinch it, so well, there goes her plan. Flamethrower to knock out the Magnezone, and their final Pokemon will be a Tinkaton, which just can Terra Evolve into a pure Steel type, and then it goes down. So, Poppy, pretty easy. From there, we're going to face off against Larry next. Larry is going to be the third Elite Four member, and he switched his typing to a Flying typing for some reason. Finally, I can show off Dust Form, Lycanroc. I've been using Dust Form, Lycanroc a lot in my training, but I haven't used them in the video yet, so I decided to start the battle off against Larry using my Lycanroc, Stone Edge into his Tropius and knock him out in one shot. Well, damn, that went pretty well. His next Pokemon is going to be a Staraptor. I went out to my own Staraptor because I get intimidated off against him. Take a close combat pretty well as I'm able to Wing Attack into him and then one shot him with a crit. How does he do so much damage? And then his next Pokemon is going to be Antaria. This thing has a bunch of elemental moves, so I decided to go out to my Gengar. I'm going to Hypnosis into him. There we go. I missed the first one. And then finally, I can Shadow Ball twice into the Altaria and knock him out. Oh, wow. He woke up for his turn. But looking enough, Gengar is able to survive it and then Shadow Ball to knock him out. His next Pokemon is going to be an Oricorio, which I go back into my Lycanroc. He's going to get hit with a Revelation Dance and then miss a Stone Edge. Of course it does. And then it's going to get Cheetah Dance. I don't want to hit myself in confusion, so I went out to my Sliggoo. Sliggoo's going to try to go for a Body Slam Paralyze against him. It did not work at all. So I decided to go out into my Lycanroc just to take the Air Slash because I know I want to have Lycanroc out for his final Pokemon, which I'm going to Cell Rock into his Oricorio, and then he's going to send out his Flamingo. I know it's a Flamigo, but it's a Flamingo, guys. It's just a Flamingo. It's going to Terra Evolve into a pure Flying type, which will actually be worse for him as I'm able to Terra Evolve into a Psychic type, ironically, and then Stone Edge into him. This is just insurance because I know it's going to go for a close combat. But lucky enough, I didn't need to anyways because I'm able to Stone Edge and knock out the Flamigo, and we end up beating down Larry pretty easily. From there, we're going to face off against the next Elite Four member in the game. We're going to face off against Hansel. Hansel is going to be the Dragon type Elite Four member of the game. We're going to start the battle off against him using my Lycan Rock to Stone Edge into his Noivern, which pretty free for me. Take a bit of damage, but that's fine. The next Pokemon is going to be a Dragolich. I know this thing has Hydro Pump, so I decided to go out to my Sliggoo, take a Hydro Pump pretty well, and then Dragon Pulse into him. It doesn't look as cool as Gen 7 Dragon Pulse, but he's also going to Dragon Pulse me back, and then for some reason I'm also faster than him, so I'm able to Dragon Pulse him again. Imagine if this thing was a Goodra. It's so good. Unfortunately, it just didn't rain. But my Sliggoo was able to knock out the Noivern. His next Pokemon will be a Flapple, which I decided to switch out into my Lucario from this, and Lucario was able to Meteor Mash into him. Does not get an attack boost though, which I was kind of hoping for, so I can knock out his back-calibur. I think that's what it's called. Back-calibur? Yeah. Back-calibur. He's going to Leech Seed me, but I'm able to just knock him out in the following turn with a Force Palm, and then his next Pokemon will be the Haxorus, which I decided to stay in for some reason. He's going to Dragon Claw me, does a lot of damage, but I'm a Steel type, so I'm going to survive it. Force Palm to paralyze him, and then I'm going to switch out into my Staraptor. Staraptor is going to get a few wing attacks off against him, and then from there I'm going to switch out into my Charizard for some reason. I don't know why. And then from there I'm going to get hit with a Rock Tomb, which is unfortunate, so that was a horrible play. So my Charizard is going to eventually knock out the Haxorus, and then his final Pokemon will be a back-calibur, which is going to Terra Evolve into a pure Dragon type. I go out to my Staraptor, trying to lower his attack stat. It's not going to work, as he's going to Glaive Rush me and knock out my Staraptor. So I finally lose a member in the Elite Four. But from there, I'm going to switch out to my Gengar next. I'm going to go for Hypnosis against the back-calibur. Looking to have insane luck with Hypnosis, so I'm able to land a Hypnosis against the back-calibur. I'm going to Shadow Ball into him, and then it actually gets a special defense drop, so it actually works pretty well for me. And then he's going to get a Glaive Rush, but he's going to get a Curse Body onto him. Pull the worst move possible. I Terra Evolve without looking, and it's a Terra Poison type and not a Terra Ghost type, so I lose my Ghost typing, so I lose my Stab, and I'm a Shadow Ball into him. Lucky enough, because of the special defense drop, I am able to knock out the back-calibur, just barely, I think. So lucky enough, it works out for me, but should have lost my Gengar, I'm not gonna lie. That was a horrible play. But from there, we're going to face off against the champion next. We're going to face off against Geta. Geta's going to be pretty useless. We're start the battle off against her ostrich-looking Pokemon with my Lycan Rock. We're going to knock him out pretty easily. Her next Pokemon is going to be an Avalugg, which I go out to my Charizard, obviously. Charizard does have Flamethrower to just knock him out. It doesn't even have Sturdy, I don't think. So Flamethrower just knocks out the Avalugg. And then I hate Geta. Her team's bad, her attitude's bad. It's just like, it feels like she's patronizing me, which I don't like. It gotta be a hard battle. And like, look at this, she sends out her King Gambit against my Charizard. I'm gonna outspeed and Flamethrower and knock out the King Gambit. So she lost 2 Pokemon because of that. Her next Pokemon will be a Faluza, which she had that the whole time. It's annoying. I go out to my Lucario. I'm going to take a Liquidation, which is fine. And then I'm going for a Force Palm. It paralyzes it. I take another Liquidation, but I'm at low HP. I go out into my Gengar next. I take an Aqua Jet, and then Shadow Ball will knock him out. Her next Pokemon is going to be a Go-Go, which I go out to my Sliggoo because I thought it was going to go for a Grass move. It didn't. So I decided to go out into my Charizard next to Flamethrower and knock out the Go-Go. Super. Why does she have a Go-Go? She's the champion of the world. Why does she have a Go-Go? Anyways, her last Pokemon will be a Glamora, which is actually pretty good against my team, surprisingly. So I decided to just switch around my team. I went out to my Lycan Rock. It's going to Terra Evolve into a pure Rock type, which is kind of annoying. I go for a Stone Edge against her, and then it's going to do a lot of damage. Unfortunately, I should have Terra Evolved because it's going to go for an Earth Power now. If I Terra Evolve, I would have saved my Lycan Rock, but unfortunately, I didn't Terra Evolve, and it's going to knock out my Lycan Rock. So I do lose a Pokemon to Geta, which is kind of unfortunate. But I go out to my Gengar. It has Energy Ball. It's going to knock out the Glamora. And with that Gengar's laughter, we end up beating the champion of the game. However, we have a more fitting battle at the end. We're going to face off against Nemona next. Nemona is going to be the final challenge in our way, the final battle of the game. We're going to start the battle off against Nemona using my Lucario. Lucario is going to go for immediate Swords Dance in front of the Lycan Rock, and then it's going to have Drill Run. So it's going to Drill Run into my Lucario as I get another Swords Dance off against him. I do, lucky enough, have Papa Bear to regain some HP. From there, I'm going to Terra Evolve into a Fighting type, which will allow me to be a pure Fighting type and lose my Ground type weakness because of my Steel typing. And I'm able to survive another Drill Run, Force Palm into him and knock out the Lycan Rock. Her next Pokemon is going to be a Palnut. It's kind of scary, but looking enough, I am +4 in physical attack. Also, I have extreme speed, so nothing can outspeed me. Palnut will get one shot in the face, and their next Pokemon will be a Dunsparce, which gets hit with a Force Palm. +4 times 2 stab, it's going to knock out 50 Dunsparces. And their next Pokemon will be an Earthworm, which I go for a Force Palm as well. And then their next Pokemon will be a Gujo, which is just kind of taunting me at this point because I couldn't get my own Gujo, but I'm able to Force Palm into her and then knock out the Gujo. And then our final Pokemon will be a Meowscarlet, which will survive extreme speed, which is so annoying. She Terra Evolves and survive one, and that means my Lucario will die to the Meowscarlet. And then from there, I'm able to switch out into my Gengar next. Bad play, it hits me with a Shadow Claw. I completely forgot that it's part Dark type and could learn like moves to counter Ghost type, but lucky enough I survive it and move to Shadow Ball into her and knock out the Meowscarlet and also beat down the Mona. And we end up beating our challenge. Can I beat Pokemon Scarlet Hardcore Nuzlocke using Ash's Pokemon? And the answer is yes. Was it a Nuzlocke? Kind of. Basically ran through Hardcore Nuzlocke rules anyways. So I want to say thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. It was pretty fun to make. Sorry to all the anime viewers and the fanatics out there that Ash is retiring, but it's been a good run. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. My name's been Alpha. If you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It means a lot to me. And my name's been Alpha. Hope you guys all had a great day, and I'm out. Peace.